All right, so because of the importance of this trig, and I understand that it caused a lot of confusion, I wanted to go over this entire assignment and just make a video for it. And you can feel free to skip around through this and pick out the ones that you need to see. It seemed like people were pretty good with 1 through 4. That one I feel like was pretty self-explanatory. Just pay attention to your reference angle and realize that the hypotenuse is always across from our right angle. Okay. 5 seem to go pretty well. Find the sine of A. Again, I'm going to use A as my reference angle. That means this is the opposite, hypotenuse and adjacent. And again, we're using SOHCAHTOA to find our ratios. All right, so sine of A is opposite over hypotenuse, so that's 8. Cosine of A is adjacent over hypotenuse, so that's 15 over 17. And tangent is O over A, so that's 8 over 15. Now, this one caused people some issues here, which I had anticipated a little bit. Well, it's not asking you to solve for anything. It just says find each ratio. Okay, so it says that 60 degrees is our reference angle. So root 3 has to be our opposite. 2 has to be our hypotenuse. And this has to be our adjacent. Technically, guys, this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle, right? One of our special right triangles, okay? Where this is A root 3, A, and 2A. All right, except here, A is just 1. This is something that's going to come up in a pre-calculus course or in a trig course, okay? You'll see this a lot when you talk about the unit circle. But we'll back pocket that discussion. Sine, remember, is opposite over hypotenuse, so opposite of the 60-degree angles is root 3. Hypotenuse is 2. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse, adjacent to 60 degrees is 1, and 2 is the hypotenuse. And tangent is O over A, so O is root 3, and then A is 1. Okay? Now, some of us may thought we had to solve. You didn't have to solve for this one. When it says find the ratio, these are all ratios. That's all you have to do. You don't have to simplify or anything like that. Okay. The backside probably caused some more trouble here. All right, when we're solving particular ones where we have to divide, but that's not going to come up just yet. All right. So if 68 is my reference angle, this would be the opposite side, this would be the adjacent side, and this would be the hypotenuse. So I'm looking at O and A. Those are my two givens. Okay. So if I have O and A means TOA. So I'm going to use tangent. So I'm going to say tangent of the angle is 68, equals O, which is X, over A, which is 21. Put this over run, cross multiply 1 over 1, yes, of course. So X equals 21 times the tangent of 68. And do I have my calculator? Yeah, here it is. 21 times tangent 68 is 51.97 or 98 is X. So I should do 98. All right, for number 8, this is my reference angle. That's the given angle, which makes this side the opposite, this side the hypotenuse, and this side the adjacent. All right, so I'm looking at A and H. A and H is C. A and H, which is cosine. So I'm going to find the cosine of 52 equals X over 17. Now put this over 1, and we're going to cross multiply and solve. Cross multiply X is going to equal 17 times the cosine of 52, which is 10.47. Wow! Holy buckets. All right. You had trouble with number 9, which I'm guessing some people did, okay? This is where things start to change a little bit. All right, so this is my 45-degree angle. This is the opposite. This is the hypotenuse. This is across from our right angle here. and this is the adjacent. So I'm looking at O and H. So O and H tells me right away that I'm using sine. I'm always going to take a trig function of an angle, so sine of 45 equals O, which is 35, over H, which is X. Okay, so this is different than the last two. All right, in the last two, X was on top here. Now X is on the bottom. So in the last two, I multiplied my side by my trig. So if it's flipped like this, that means I'm going to end up dividing. Okay, so when X is on the bottom, I end up dividing the number by my trig, by the trig function. So I have sine of 45 times X equals 35. Now remember, sine of 45 is an actual number. Okay, sine, cosine, and tangents, they're operators. They perform operations on numbers. Just like a square root function, just like a square root function, just like the log function, just like an ln, like a natural log, just things like that. Okay, absolute value is an operator. They perform operations on numbers. Okay, so sine of 45 spits out is an answer if I plug that into my calculator. But I need to solve for X. Okay, so this is what trips people up. On this one, when X is in the bottom of my trig ratio here, I'm going to divide the side length by the sine of 45 instead. What the heck? These will cancel out, and X is, and I'm going to write it as 35 over sine of 45, and then I'll tell you what that answer is. This is something that tends to trip up a lot of people. Okay, so if you were confused by this, you are not alone. All right, you should get 49.49. Or 49.5. Okay, for my X value. This one is a little bit. This one was like 7 and 8. Okay. Here's my angle. This is the opposite. This is the adjacent. Here's my hypotenuse. O and A. O and A means tangent. All right, so I'm going to take the tangent of this angle. Tangent of 51 equals X over 15. Again, I'm going to put this over 1. Since X is on the top here in my trig ratio, I'm just going to multiply. I'm going to multiply my side length, so 15 times my trig function, tangent of 41. I got 13.04 rounded to 13.04. Okay. Last two, 11 and 12. All right. 11 is a sneaky little bucket here. So this is 59. This is my opposite. Hypotenuse adjacent. H. A and H means I'm going to use cosine. So cosine, and that's a 59, equals 30x over 1. Since x is in the denominator, x is in the bottom, I'm going to have to divide my side length by the trig function. But before I do that, I'm going to show this step. So cosine of 59 times x equals 34. Divide both sides by, it just be like, it's like 59x equals 34. What would you do if ignore the cosine? If it was just 59x equals 34, I would divide both sides by 59. It's the same idea, except now I'm performing this operation on the number and dividing as well. These cancel. 34 divided by cosine 59. 66.01. Right? Hold on. Time. Whew. Gamer time. What's up, gamers? Here we go. All right, so 31, we got O, A, H. O and A, holy buckets. O and A means tangent, So I'm going to go tangent of 31 equals O, which is x, over A, which is 16. Put this over 1. Cross apply. Wow. X equals 16 times the tangent of 31. 16 times tangent 31 equals 9.61. There you go. All right, so hopefully this video helped. Let me know what you think. If you'd like me to continue to make these, let me know. Adios.